Young Avengers, New Avengers, Dark Avengers, what's coming at us in Phase 4? We're probably going to find out soon enough, but Mitch, kick this off. What kind of ideas you got for where they're going and what they want to do?
Well, I think Young Avengers is kind of the obvious one. Like, if you look at what they're doing, a lot of the stuff points to them. You know, Hawkeye's got Kate Bishop in it. The One Division series is, I imagine, going to bring in the kids. That's what I've been told anyway. The Bucky, or not Bucky, the Captain Winter Soldier show, you can do a Patriot of some kind in there.
Yeah.
You could, got Cassie Langer's stature in Ant-Man, so they're kind of already there, or at least the potential for them to be there is. So, you know, they've also said they've wanted a franchise to run alongside the Avengers.
Yeah.
So having like an actual young Avengers franchise, you know, is kind of a no-brainer.
Here's what people... This is kind of naive, but it's kind of naive of me to think that everybody knows because they don't. So if you go back and listen to the investor call that Bob Iger did, like probably about 6 months ago or so was the one. And he specifically talked about the future of the Avengers brand. And he literally wants to reassure the investors. He goes, the Avengers brand will continue, but we're not ready to announce anything. Look, the Avengers is continuing. That's a guarantee. But what iteration, that's what he's getting people ready for. Because it's like, yes, the Avengers name, I think the core Avengers are done. You're never going to see Cap, Tony, and Thor side by side again until maybe if they can pull off Secret Wars in like 15 years. But for right now, you can't just call them Avengers, right? Like, you got to do New Avengers, Dark Avengers, West Coast Avengers. You know, I don't care what you call it, but it's got to be a sub-brand.
It also kind of like eases people into the idea of a new team.
Yep.
Like, yes, the 4 Avengers movie we've gotten already, like the team and roster changed, but you always had the core 3. And you always had that core original 6 group as well. So labeling it New Avengers and being like, look, you have similar archetypes, like, you know, Sam's now Captain America, maybe Valkyrie takes over Thor's spot, you got another captain in there and all that. You know, so you
still there. Got Ant-Man.
Yeah, you got Ant-Man and the Wasp as well, so you can finally have an Avengers team with the founders on it. Not all of them, obviously, but the important ones. So, you know, you can just ease people slowly into that idea and be like, look, these are called the New Avengers. They're not replacing what you had. They kind of are, but they're not the ones you've had before. We're keeping them as they are, and this is going to be this lot.
And that's kind of something I also want to bring up. Like, as much as it hurts me to say this, I think they need to replace Silvestri's theme with something new or remix it because I love the Avengers theme, but that's the Avengers. You know, it's like it won't feel the same.
That's like Star Wars changing its music up because it's Rey and Finn and Poe.
Yeah, that's true.
But Star Wars still kept that core music.
It does. So the thing is, when it comes to a Star Wars, you still have the original people finishing off their story. So now Star Wars is going to have the end of that particular song.
Also, the solo standout ones, you know, Rogue One and stuff, they didn't include the main theme. So it's like, that's so... I feel like you need to brand it as a whole new thing. Like, if they do Dark Avengers, which I feel like that they are going to do that, I think Dark Avengers can literally be something that nobody is expecting, and when it comes out, we watch it, we're like, oh wow, like that's next level stuff right there, you know? Like,
see, I kind of like grown too attached to that Avengers theme to let it
Same.
go. Like, even though it's kind of at the point where it's like, you probably should let it go.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you just remix it to make it sound different.
Yeah.
Then like even Dark Avengers, make it sound a bit more dark, a bit more militaristic.
I want to bring that up because Danny Elfman was brought in to do the score for Age of Ultron, and his Avengers theme is Silvestri's, but he remixes it and Elfman's it enough that it's just slightly different. And I personally, I love that theme. Like, it's just different enough that it sticks out a little bit. So
yeah, we just listened to it in the car. It's like you can hear that it's Danny Elfman because he has that slight whimsical, not as much as he does in like Harry Potter, but he has that whimsy kind of charm to it, but also adds a Batman feel. So also, then,
I mean, I'm glad you brought up Batman because it's. You remember when we were watching Justice League? I know, try not to. Don't hit your brain too hard. But
please don't.
When Batman shows up, they go back to the 1989 theme. Like, it's like you need to get past that at some point because at some point it just feels like
wrong.
Yeah, and like you're pandering to the look at what it is, you know.
But with that, you know, that's a different Batman, it's a different franchise.
Yeah, this is
still like Marvel only has the one. It's I don't know. I think that everyone's going, oh, they need to like make their music a bit more iconic. It's like, well, it is iconic now. You look at Sylvester's Portals, like who doesn't know Portals?
Oh my god, Portals is a masterpiece.
Like we've just peaked with that Avengers theme. Like use it that way.
Yeah.
Just make it different and just keep the core like that, and just like go on with that.
Yeah, no,
because like that at that point it is that is their soundtrack now.
Right, that is the Avengers. Yeah. That's what we know them as. At the same time, out of like Young Avengers, New Avengers, and Dark Avengers, what are you guys most excited for? I guess I'll go around here. Shay, which one do you want to see the most?
I'm actually going to be going with Young Avengers since A-Force isn't one that's on here yet. And the big reason why is I actually saw a meme that's going around lately that is a guy talking about how excited he was as a child seeing Superman for the first time, and he put a cape on and jumped off of his sofa. So having Young Avengers is going to be able to have the younger teenage crowds have that and so excited moment of being able to see, hey, these are people my age-ish being able to be a helping force to be able to help the community. And obviously they're going to be more in an epic fashion, but it's going to sit there and potentially hopefully spark that interest in the younger generations.
It's kind of like Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yes.
It's the only one that's actually a goddamn teenager. Because like, you looked at Tobey Maguire, you're like, dude, you're clearly 35.
Yeah.
And you looked at Garfield, you're like, all right, you're clearly in your late 20s. Like, they were doing the CW thing. Then you look at Tom Holland, you're like, all right, you're older, but I could clearly tell you still look like a teenager. And
he
you got
acts
that.
like it.
Right.
So he's 20, but he hasn't hit puberty yet.
No,
exactly. I guess I'll go next, then we'll get to you guys. To me personally, I want Dark Avengers. Like, and here's why. It's a contrast to the heroic team we just had. Like, the Avengers were so built up, and everybody knows them. They're celebrities. You know, they're all over. Like, everybody's heard of them. And now, if you introduce the Dark Avengers, you have that opportunist like Norman Osborn, who's like, I'm going to take that name, and I am going to warp this, and I have my team. And yeah, we're going to do a little bad, but we're going to put on a face and make it seem like what we're doing is good. It's just a complete opposite, which then makes me think, once you do the Dark Avengers, their opponents become the New Avengers. So it's like a perfect lead in to counteract the team. Because if you just go straight into New Avengers, to me personally, it feels like you're almost pushing too much of a, look, you got to see these new guys, forget the old ones. Like, there needs to be a reason behind it. So, to me, I want Dark Avengers first, and then as their counter, like, you build up the Avengers as a, force to them in the main film. So
that makes sense.
That's kind of me. Mitch, what do you got?
I'm torn between both Young and Dark Avengers. Like, Young Avengers, it comes in here and goes like, look, there is a legacy in this universe. Like, we can do whatever. You can just continuously go on for as many years as you want us to go on for. Mm-hmm. Dark Avengers it just brings up such an interesting, like, you have a power void right now, and like, it is that opportunist like Osborn moment that you were talking about, and that's kind of like, I don't know. I need to see how they actually go ahead and do this, but it's definitely the more interesting one because you can go so many angles with it. It's like, look, those guys, they're gone. They kind of failed you. Yes, they brought everyone back. But we're not going to make those mistakes, and you can like win people over that way. And then they could play it off that the Dark Avengers are the heroes and the new team, and then play it that way.
You just want to see the Iron Patriot.
Yes.
I mean, I saw that in Endgame.
Yeah.
Brody's wearing it. So.
Yeah. It's, I don't know.
Also, question that you can bring Minerva back because she's not dead. Like, yes,
True.
the ship blew up, but you didn't see her die.
That's true. You can make her some sort of Tristan, what do you got? Which one are you more excited for?
Me, I know it's kind of weird, but the New Avengers, because you could I've been toying with like you can make it like their version of the Ultimates, where you have Carol, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange. Coming together, saying that. Yeah, we have people out there protecting Earth, trying to make sure, they don't come here. But what if they do? We don't really have a defense system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you can also bring in Scott Lang and some other heroes. Even if they want to, they can even bring in Spider-Man because they have that one with Far From Home saying he's been to space, so he shouldn't even be considered friendly neighborhood at this point.
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. Would you like? There's a thing going around Twitter, like asking people what their new core 6 Avengers would be. So, would you ever have Spider-Man on your core Avengers team?
Well, he was on a new event. Yeah, well, he was technically on a new Avengers. So.
Yeah, but he was an adult in the comics. He was a kid.
I honestly don't want him as a core Avenger. Like, I don't want him. That's my personal thing, but like,
I can see him being the one who helps lead the Young Avengers because he is a younger person. Obviously, they'll have somebody older, like potentially like Scott, have him do it, and then be like, Peter's like, dude, I have more like maturity than you.
I would love it if Scott Lang, they're like, what team am I on? And they're like, you go to the Young Avengers. He's like, I gotta raise a bunch of kids? What is this?
Wasn't it Hank Pym who did the Young Avengers in the comics?
I can't remember.
I swear Hank Pym did something, or Avengers Academy he did. It was one of them, I'm certain of it. But yeah, it just kind of mirrored that with Scott Lang. It's like, that's never going to go well.
Avengers Academy sounds like a perfect Disney Plus show.
Oh, yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, that's money printing right there.
What you do is you set up every Young Avenger, then you have the Young Avengers movie, then you go back and have a Avengers Academy, and then you have Young Avengers 2, and you do it that way. Yeah. So look, here's the big adventure, here's them learning everything, here's their big adventure, here's them learning everything, and play it after that.
So I guess that's the end of that topic. So you guys let us know what Avengers team you would like to see in the MCU.